I was scrolling through Twitter the other day and also kind of popping into some travel focused Facebook groups when I started to notice something kind of alarming. People from other states were planning road trips to Colorado. And honestly, my first instinct was to freak the hell out. I didn't stay inside my house from March 11th until May so that you could bring your Rona germs to Denver. But I'm a realist, and the reality is that people are going to travel and visit other states, in particular, Colorado and other states that are very attractive for road trips because we can't go abroad right now. So I thought about how I could make those trips a lot more fun for you and safe for visitors as well as citizens of the state of Colorado this summer. Because let's face it, your road trip or your flight, whatever, your trip will be really different this time. And I wanted to share 7 tips for visiting Denver this summer. Grab your pen and take some notes. Need more tips and information to plan your next trip to Denver? Make sure to grab the Time to Visit Denver guide today. Or if you're thinking about moving here, get the Epic Guide to Moving to Colorado. Go to the show notes, squarestateco.com/tips for visiting Denver this summer. Again, that's squarestateco.com/tips for visiting Denver this summer. Thank you for listening to Square State, a podcast all about Colorado. If Texas and California did shots together, Colorado would be the result. I'm your host, Michelle Jackson, and I'm super excited to have this conversation with you today. Before you begin planning your trip to Denver and the state of Colorado, I need you to be aware of a couple of things, and I want to tell you a couple of things. The first thing is your trip is going to be different. Businesses have closed. Your expectations need to be different. And the citizens of Colorado are slowly but surely figuring out what our new normal is, and you're going to experience that when you visit. Traveling during a pandemic is tricky. We all need a break from reality, but the reality is the pandemic will follow you everywhere you go unless you go to New Zealand, and that island isn't opening up anytime soon for us to visit. So tip number 1 would be flexible, because each state and city is approaching the pandemic in different ways here in the United States. It is highly likely that our rules here in Colorado may be very different than the rules in your town and state. That's just honest. Tip number 2, please respect our rules and mandates. We ask that you respect our rules while you're here. Be prepared to wear masks in the following spaces: grocery stores, retail shops like clothing stores, massage facilities, fitness spaces, coffee shops, restaurants. However, I've found that these spaces are doing a really good job of communicating their expectations of their clientele, in addition to communicating the steps that they're taking to keep everyone safe. Tip number 3, do your research. You may have heard that businesses are opening back up across the US, but things are different. Here are some things to anticipate and look out for, or here are some changes to anticipate and look out for. Ladies, it pains me to tell you this, but there seem to be fewer public restrooms available. Of course, men use the restroom too, but I'm just saying, like, ladies always look for restrooms, and I'm just letting you know now. It does right now feel like there are fewer available. Part of what I do with Square State, I ask all the awkward questions for you, and I've been asking around about, hey, like, can we use your restroom? And a lot of places are saying no, including a Starbucks that I went into. So that's just something to be aware of. Hours are different. Many businesses are open for shorter periods of time, and they may have shifted the hours that they have. So say, for example, a business may have been open from 8 to 5. Maybe they're open 11 to 3. So things are different. The times are different. Timed entries have become a thing. You may have to schedule the time that you go to a place. Some businesses have completely changed their business model, or maybe they've pivoted a key area of their services so that they can stay relevant now and so that they can make money to keep the lights on. Some venues are still closed or won't reopen this summer. An example of that would be Waterworld, which is a huge venue, so much fun, but it's closed for summer 2020. Red Rocks, at the time of this recording, I absolutely am obsessed with Red Rocks, but they're still closed right now in mid-June. No one's really said when they're going to reopen. Some smaller mountain towns or smaller country towns have their own set of rules and regulations, and some citizens may not be excited to have you there. So just be prepared for this, and especially if you don't want to follow their rules, they may not like that. So heads up, be respectful if you're going to these smaller towns. Tip number 4, here are some questions that I encourage you to ask and that you need to ask when you're putting together your trip. Before you head to a venue that interests you, so you know how normally you're putting your trip together and you're like, I'd like to do this, that, and the other. First, you're going to look at their website or call before you stop by. You're just not going to stop by and see if it's open. Don't do that. That could be a complete waste of your time. You're going to go to their website first, okay? And you're going to check a couple of things. You're going to look at their current hours. You're going to see if they have a patio, where if it's a food venue or even a bar, that kind of thing. Ask if they have a patio. What is the party size limit? So some facilities are mandating a maximum number of people per party. So you don't want to have 10 people that you're wanting to go to a restaurant with, and the restaurant's like, actually the max per party is 6. So you need to ask that question. One fun question you can ask is, can we purchase alcohol to go? Some rules and regulations have been changed, and this is one of them. And I do hope that it stays, it's changed permanently. So we'll see what happens with that. This one, do you have a bathroom available for patrons? Again, do not assume that they do. Okay. Do we have to make a reservation? That's a good question. Again, I mentioned earlier that there's timed entries. So you might have to make a reservation in order to go to that place. That even includes farmers markets. Some of the farmers markets are requesting that you do that. Or if you show up, just like randomly show up, you might have to wait until you can go in. Tip number 5, I'm going to let you know what you need to bring when you visit Colorado. I call it my Colorado travel kit, and you should have the following items on you throughout the day in your backpack, your giant purse, what have you. A water bottle, it's dry here. Sunblock, your skin will thank you because the sun is really harsh here. Face mask, because you're going to need to wear one in most places. Hand wipes, coronavirus. Hand sanitizer, coronavirus. Chapstick, your lips will thank you. Lotion, your skin will thank you because it's dry as heck here. So those are the things that you need to have on you at all times. Tip number 6, triple check public transit. Right now, RTD, which is the name of our bus service, it's operating on limited hours, and patrons currently do not have to pay for service. However, this could change at any time, so you need to check that. You also are required and requested to wear face masks when you are on the bus and the train. The bus staying service, which I'm obsessed with, is currently not running. I'm hoping that that will change soon, but as of this time, the bus staying service, which will take you to like Frisco and Steamboat Springs and Vail and Glenwood Springs, that bus staying service is still not running. So again, don't assume anything. You have to do your research. Tip number 7, and this is a big one, don't wing it. Before the coronavirus, you could wing it, right? You could just show up and visit a place without a firm plan. Right now, I would just really strongly discourage you from doing that, especially as long as we're fighting the spread of the virus. As a resident of Denver and the state of Colorado, I want you to have a great time while you're here, but part of that's on you, right? Part of that is doing your research, doing your due diligence, and just being aware of what to expect. But I think it's important to be candid about what to expect and what to consider while you're here. Let's be clear, things are different. They may be different from your state. That said, I would like to share what things have been like for me for the past couple of weeks as we reopen the state. So like how day-to-day life is right now. I've taken the light rail. I've gone to the farmer's market. I've gone to more than one because I'm kind of researching what the experience is like. Again, things have changed. So you might be required to reserve your time, or you may need to enter the actual market from a specific location. I've actually gone to 3 different markets, and that's been the case for all 3. So just heads up. Some markets also have an online ordering component as well. So you can order something online and then pick it up on a different day. But if you're on a trip, that doesn't sound so exciting, but I just want to make sure that you know that that's something they're doing. I also worked at my co-working space. I've worked at 2 different spaces in the last couple of weeks, and it was great. I use a product called Desk Pass. So if you are traveling and you're needing a co-working space, Desk Pass is awesome. I'll include my affiliate link in the show notes. Basically, it's the same as Class Pass, which is a fitness pass. And what Desk Pass does is you get access to different co-working spaces throughout the United States. And now that spaces are opening up, I can use my Desk Pass membership subscription and go and do my work. So if you're visiting, it might be a great way to get your work done in a designated space and then go about your day-to-day business. I've hung out at coffee shops, specifically on the patios. I don't feel confident or comfortable really eating inside with a whole bunch of people. Like, I'm not excited about that. But we have a wonderful patio culture here in Denver and in the state. So it's very easy to find patios everywhere. You can eat inside restaurants right now, but again, for me, I'm not ready for that. So I will go to a restaurant as long as I know there's a patio, and I prefer to do that. Bars are slowly reopening, and I've actually seen people hanging out and going to them. Bars have specific things that they want you to do. Right now, I just read that live music is not allowed because the thought is it encourages crowds. I can't fight that. That's true. So you may not necessarily be able to go to a place where there's live music. That might not be a thing. Just heads up, consider that. And I will say that people, for the most part, have been pretty good natured about everything. We're all just in this together, and we're all just trying to figure things out as best we can. This is new for everyone. Even my grandma, who's a grandma, is like, I've never had this experience in my life. Are you kidding? So we are all trying to do this together. And what I would say is, I want you to have an amazing time when you come to Denver, but I need for you to be prepared for what that means. It's not going to be like it was before. So thank you so much for listening to the episode. I hope you have a wonderful time here in my state. Don't forget to grab either the Time to Visit Denver Guide today or the Epic Guide to Movie to Colorado, if that's something you're thinking of. And I can't wait to hear about your trip. Take care, stay safe, and wash your hands.